Hello, it is a pleasure to greet you, dear audience that is listening to us. My name is Alessia, and together with my colleagues Laura, William, and Misal, we will be talking about the mysterious case of Jack the Ripper. But first, I would like to give a brief explanation about what happened in this revolutionary case. Jack the Ripper is the name attributed to a serial killer of unknown identity who appeared from 1888 to 1891 in Whitechapel, East End, London, where 5 homicides are attributed to women who were dedicated to being ladies of company. Jack committed these murders in the streets, except for the last one, which is identified as the most heinous of the 5, since the woman was found with the different parts of her body placed in different places throughout the room. Likewise, he was recognized because when he murdered his victims, he took out their organs, disfigured them, and did not give them time to scream, and took their uterus with him. This case was shocking in its time, and today it still is because the true identity of this murderer could never be discovered, despite the fact that he sent letters to the police mocking them for not being able to catch him and discover him. However, if this has been the model of several conspiracy theories, and after investigating the different conspiracy theories about the identity of the murderer, each one shows that theory that seems best and most reasonable. For me, in my case, I select the one that seemed most likely and reliable. This, in my opinion, must have been one of many theories that the police could have considered years ago with the evidence they had. Also, I think that this, from my point of view, is the one that explains what really happened. This theory explains that after the investigation of scientists named Jerry and David to a shoal found next to the body of Jack's fourth victim, which had blood stains that were analyzed, they determined that there were 2 samples of mitochondrial DNA, where the first was from the victim and the second from Aaron Kominsky. This could be verified with living relatives of this. In conclusion, I understand there's no question of why I chose this theory after the previous explanation. Even so, I want to emphasize that this seemed to me the most interesting and probably the most logical among all the ones I read, due to the fact that it could be demonstrated with concrete scientific studies and not with assumptions like the majority. However, I agree with some of the criticisms made of this theory, since Jerry and Miller should have taken into account some considerations that could have altered the result.
I'm going to talk to you about the theory about the British painter. The British painter shared a DNA with the Ripper. When the murders were committed, he was 28 years old. This photograph, who is also famous, you can search for it. It's called Jack the Ripper's Bathroom. Was taken 4 years earlier in 1884. Walter Sticker was a famous British painter interested in the case and author of the oil painter of Jack the Ripper's Bathroom, like I said earlier. He was identified as the murderer by the writer Patricia Cornwell, who saw in him traits psychopathic and mitochondrial DNA match. Was found also a letter sent by Sticker's wife and another signed off by himself Ripper. But up to 10% of the population shared the same type of DNA. I like personally this theory because why will he have a letter signed off by Jack himself Ripper and also interested in a paint of his bathroom? It doesn't make sense to me, but that's what I think. What do you guys think? Now I share my words with my classmate William.
Hello, my name is William Payne. In this video, I want to talk about the third theory of John Pizer, a Jewish shoemaker nicknamed Leather Apron because he walked down the street with the apron of his trade. He was arrested 2 days after the murder of the Ripper's second victim on the night of September 8th. A woman accused him of brandishing a knife at her that morning. He had already been involved in altercations with prostitutes, but he had solid alibis for the night of the two murders. In this cartoon, he stands before the portrait of, of the other suspects. The reason why I agree with this theory is because Jack the Ripper liked to kill only women. So this cobbler liked to call prostitutes. Coincidentally, in the case of the last two victims, he had the appearances and caused that he was hit. In addition to being accused of brandishing his knife and other prostitutes 2 days after the murder.
I personally believe in the theory of Stephen Knight. In his book, Jack the Ripper, The Final Solution, he proposed that the authors behind the murders committed in Whitechapel must have been the royal family. The murders could have been intended to end the blackmail suffered by the Duke of Clarence, grandson of the Queen Victoria. The Duke could have had a daughter with a prostitute, and her friends intended to go public if they don't receive money. That's why they murdered them and blame their deaths on a Jack the Ripper that never existed. I personally think that this makes sense because the royal family will have had the money, power, and connection not only to find someone to do the work, but to not let the police do their job properly.
Jack the Ripper started killing people on 31st of August and stopped it on 9th of November in 1888, and he was never caught. In that short amount of time, he killed 5 women. All of them were prostitutes. He brought chaos and fear to the people on Whitechapel in East London. We will never know who this murderer was and what became with him. All that people know is that he's one of the most well-known serial killers in history. We will never have a conclusive proof of who Jack the Ripper was, but it's delicate to remember one of the most popular cold cases in history. Many people will disagree with the theories that we had in this video, but we only give you a range of possibility that you may consider. Now, what is left for you is to make your own research and make your own conclusion. Thank you for watching the video.